Before that, members are reminded to refrain from engaging personalities toward the President. The gentleman from Oklahoma is recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I yield myself such time as I may consume. I want to begin by discussing process with my good friend from Massachusetts, where I think he makes some good points. But I think he fails to recognize the progress that this bill represents. My good friend knows, because we have the privilege of working together on the Rules Committee, I've thought for many years, frankly, that we needed to get back to regular order. I remind this House the last time we actually operated under an appropriations process was in 2006. My friends were actually in the majority when we got rid of open rules on appropriations bill. My friends never brought all 12 appropriations bills to the floor and where they were subject to amendments by various members. I would agree with my friend, this is not a perfect process that we have. If I had my way, we would go back to the way we operated in 2006 before the last Democratic majority, bring the bills down individually, and frankly give every member an open shot at amendment. I think that's the appropriate way to proceed. Again, my friends thought differently when they were in the majority and never made a move to restore regular order, quite the opposite. We've actually fought to do that. We did have a period of open rules on appropriations bills. We didn't get every bill down here, I regret to say, but we got quite a few of them down. But my friends decided they would engage in poison pill tactics. I regret, honestly, personally, that my conference gave in to that. We're more worried about casting tough votes. I think you're sent here to cast tough votes. So I'll make this commitment to my friend. I'll continue to work with him and my colleagues on the other side of the aisle that would like to return to that process. However, I do recognize this is significant progress toward doing that. This is the first time since 2006 that all 12 bills in one form or another will reach this floor. And frankly, every single member has been free to offer amendments on any portion of those 12 bills that they care to. Now, not all of them were made in order by the Rules Committee. And I would hope we get past that again someday. But again, before my friends decry that too much, they need to remember the role they played in actually getting us out of that process. I also would like to talk just briefly with my friend about his thoughts about DACA. And I'm sure we'll have a good discussion on that in the course of the day. And honestly, I think the discussion is helpful. But I think the President of the United States did the right thing when, number one, he recognized that he does not have the constitutional authority, something even his predecessor wondered about, to actually engage in law and put this issue back in the hands of the Congress. The Congress now has 6 months to deal with it. The Speaker has assured us that we will do that. The appropriate way to proceed is to have the Committee of Jurisdiction actually hold hearings and move forward, but we'll see which way we go. But I think there's a better chance for a long-term solution, as even my friend agrees, if we have a legislative fix to the problem. I think that will involve some give and take, but my hope is we'll end up at a place where all parties are satisfied. But we'll see. That's what the legislative process is all about. Final point to make, Mr. Speaker. I think we need to recognize that what we're debating on here today in terms of these 4 appropriations bills, and we'll have another tranche of appropriations bills down here later, is actually a process. What we're really doing today is defining the position of the majority party as to where it stands on funding the government. I don't expect my friends to agree with that. There'll be elements of these bills that they agree with, without a doubt. I don't think they'll oppose a lot of things that we do in regard to HUD or THUD, or in regard to some of these other various programs that we'll deal with. But at the end of the day, and my side needs to recognize this, we're going to end up in a negotiation with the United States Senate and the administration sometime probably after the 1st of October. And that negotiation has to be bipartisan. As my friends know, the other body requires 60 votes, and that would mean there has to be Democratic participation. And quite frankly, the appropriations bills that have moved across the floor here in fiscal year 2015, fiscal year 2016, fiscal year 2017 have all been bipartisan. They've all been the product of negotiation. And at the end of the day, and I remind my friends, in May, a majority of them actually voted in favor of the omnibus spending bill for FY 2017 in the House and in the Senate, as did, by the way, a majority of Republicans in the House and the Senate, and President Trump signed it. So we know how this process ends, and we know how to make it work appropriately. This is simply another step in the process. It's my hope that at the end of the day we arrive at a bicameral, bipartisan process that actually funds the government, and we're able to accomplish in concert with one another things that we think are important to the American people. I have a great deal of confidence we'll get there because that's what we've done the last 3 years. We're actually doing it a little better this year. So with that, Mr. Speaker, I'll reserve the balance of my time.